The views and opinions of this program are those of the hosts, guests, and callers. There is substantial risk of loss in trading futures and options, which you should carefully consider prior to trading.
Make sure to subscribe to the Market Talk YouTube channel. You can watch our latest interviews with top market analysts in the country, find bonus content, and much more. It's easy. Just go to youtube.com/@MarketTalkAg and hit the subscribe button. Or you can search for Market Talk Ag on YouTube.
And joining us now here on Market Talk as we take a look at how the week of trade wrapped up. Not the best closes in the grains and oilseeds on Friday. Well, the oilseeds, I should say, bean oil did have a little bit of green on the screen there, but overall seeing some pressure throughout corn, soybeans, and wheat. Joining us for a conversation, a new voice here on Market Talk, Conner Bridgman with Advanced Trading at ATI Pro Media. Conner, good to have you on the show, buddy. Hope you're doing well.
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, Jesse.
Well, as I kind of alluded to, not the best end of the week in the grain trade. To me, it felt like some of that managed money crowd was maybe taking a little profit and or trying to protect some of their short positions, because I know these funds are very short in a lot of these grain markets right now. So I don't know, maybe that was some of it on Friday. What's your take of what we saw on Friday's grain trade?
Not the close we were looking for. And you said it, you were dead on. The funds are as short as they've been since 2018, I believe 2019. We are super short, and it's not a good market if we're flipping over our bullish card. Our main bullish card right now is that how bearish the funds are, right? That doesn't feel good, but it's there. And as we started the week off, I was hoping we'd build some momentum. We'd see some, get that nasty Jan 12th report behind us and maybe start building, get some of that short covering rally. And we saw a little bit like March beans, for example. We closed above levels that we saw January 11th. So we kind of got that Jan 12th out. And then I think we triggered some selling, maybe some funds jumping in, and we closed lower. Corn, soybeans, wheat, all of the above today.
Well, I wonder this too. You know, you mentioned trying to clear out that Jan 12th report. Do you feel like the grains were maybe building a little bit of a base here, so to speak? I mean, what do you think, Conner?
Yeah, base is in like a kind of trying to get a bull, trying to get a rally started. That type of base. Is that what you mean?
Like a floor kind of base here with some of this market action. You know, if we look at charts and technicals, do you feel like we're kind of trying to build some sort of a floor down here at some of these price levels?
I hope so. March corn, we're still above that low, soybeans as well. So hopefully we build that and we start looking, we can talk about all the negatives in the past, but we still have a ton of unknowns in the market. Safrinha corn crop is just barely getting started. That's going to be a big one. We're always, of course, we've got our own production that we have to talk about. What are we going to see in acreage and all that? So I would like, let's get some of the known, the negative news, the big carry numbers, and it'd be nice to see the trade start factoring in the unknowns and maybe start covering some of these short positions and see a little bit of a rally.
Conner, I know you guys there at Advanced Trading traveling around winter meeting season, having a lot of conversations with growers. I mean, what's some of what you're hearing? You brought up that production, that acreage battle. I feel like that's already starting to be a bit of a talk here in the marketplace. I mean, what are you hearing from customers right now in terms of what we could see this spring in the U.S.?
Yeah, absolutely. We saw, what did we see, Jesse? 2 or 3 estimates for acreage. And generally speaking, we're still planting a whole bunch of corn, not quite as much as the 94 million acres we saw this year, but most that I saw were the 92.5, 93 million acres. That's still a big corn acre. Throw a trend line yield, right? A 180, 181. We've got enough corn there. And so speaking to producers, the sentiment's definitely negative, especially if we didn't pull the trigger on some old crop. And now we've got this slide and we haven't done anything for new crops. So negative psychology, it's not very positive right now. In terms of planting acreage, I would say it feels like the pencil still slightly pushes to corn at these prices, just given the ratio. And as we know, we put the most expensive corn crop in 2023 and we planted 94 million acres. So we love to plant corn in the US. So it feels like that's still the mindset, but it's not, I'm going to call it 50-50. It's not a big swing one way or the other from what I'm seeing.
I feel like the sentiment I'm gathering, and maybe you can add to this as well, is that, the general heart of the Corn Belt, we're going to see that normal rotation of corded soybeans. Yep. It's going to be some of these outside acres, Northern Plains, maybe cotton country, where we could maybe see a shift in acreage here in 2024. That's the sentiment I'm getting, Conner.
Absolutely. And I'm in the heart of Central Illinois, so I'm definitely in corn and soybean country. But definitely, cotton's had a decent run. In terms of profitability for a guy, I'm not sure where it would pencil, but that's where we could see those fringe acres start creeping up on the corn acreage. Absolutely.
Outside market stuff. I know we've had plenty of economic data this week that's impacting the market in the U.S. and China with their stimulus. I know we got the Fed going to get ready to meet here. I mean, there's a lot of that outside market stuff too. Anything big for you that you're really keeping an eye on in terms of how it's impacting grains and livestock here, Conner?
Yeah, the Fed rate decision next week. I think it's a pretty good chance they don't touch it at all. But that's something that the trade, then if they're not going to touch it, then the trade pay attention to the rhetoric and how they're going to, can we plan on a rate cut in March? Can we plan on one this summer? We'll get some guidance from there. That will be a big one, and that will affect producers a lot. Other than that, China, that's a big one, and it's not positive. Was it Monday or Tuesday, Jesse? We saw that one of their biggest hedge funds said, no, please quit shorting our stock. You're not allowed to short it anymore. Could you imagine if we did that in the United States? Not positive news. We saw like on hogs, they kind of are encouraging guys to cull the how much hogs they're having and reduce that. So not a whole lot of positive news. The demand isn't really there. So we'll keep a close eye on China, but nothing positive so far, especially this week in China.
I know too, the geopolitical risks that are out there in the marketplace. Absolutely. Too. I mean, you have China stepping in, telling Iran to try and get control of the Houthi rebels and all the attacks in the Red Sea. So, I mean, we got shipping challenges around the world. We have still low water levels in the Panama Canal. There's a lot of these factors too. I mean, Conner, right now, there's not a lot of positive news for the grain markets, is there?
It sure doesn't feel like that, Jesse. And it feels like with logistics, I swear it wasn't 4 or 5 months ago, the Mississippi River levels were low. Then we had the Panama Canal, and now we've got the Suez Canal, the Red Sea problem. It's 2024 might be the year of logistics problems. But the one glimmer, if we do kick it over to cattle had a heck of a run this week. I think we hit 50%. Don't quote me on this, but close to that 50% retracement from the high. We've had that sell off. So probably a good thing if you're a cattle guy, start looking at where we can lock in some profit, probably an actionable market level, I would say.
Definitely. And we got a big cattle inventory report coming up here this upcoming week on Wednesday, the 31st. I know a lot of folks are going to be watching that number closely, could kind of set the table here for the year ahead in this cattle market. Conner, to kind of wrap things up, just final thoughts from you, things you'd want to reiterate or tell folks here. I think for risk management's sake right now, having a pencil that's sharpened, being smart, not burying your head in the sand, trying to use all the tools that are available to you. We say all these things. I mention all these things on the show all the time. I think it's always good to kind of bring it back home to that, because even with some of these lower prices right now, there's still opportunity. You still have to do things in terms of your marketing. So, I mean, any thoughts you could offer us on as we kind of talk about that and kind of wrap up with risk management here real quick?
Yep. Just make sure, if we're going to sit on our hands and do nothing, doing nothing is making a decision. And so we need to keep that in mind, as we look at acreage, as we look at trendline yields, yield potential, right? That's all in the framework, things that we could see. And we could see some big carry numbers if we have some decent crops in South America and in the US. And I think you need to plan accordingly for that. We do have next week, it'll be February 1st, crop insurance price discovery for corn and soybeans. So it will be good to maybe get through the month of February, see where crop insurance puts a floor on us, and then we can market accordingly against that. So that'd be something to keep in mind as we think of that. PLC ARC decisions, right? I think you got to make that by March 15th. Hopefully we don't need any of them, right? Because if those are coming into play, it means we saw a pretty big either yield hit or price collapse if we're doing the PLC. But things to consider too. See which one works for your operation. So that's the things I'm looking at.
Well, I want to give you guys a plug real quick too. I know you and Tommy Grisafi, the team there at Advanced Trading, ATI Pro Media, you guys are doing something really cool. Kind of a market rundown of the day, live every weekday morning at 9 a.m. Talk about that a little bit, Connor.
Yeah, thanks for plugging us. We go live every day, 9 a.m. on YouTube. You can listen to it afterwards on Spotify, Apple, but we're on YouTube, LinkedIn, and we do it on Twitter. And so we just try and give you a quick 10 to 15 minute rundown on markets, outside markets, break down what's happening live. Sometimes we jump on, we start the show, and then the whole thing changes within 5 minutes, depending on the market action. So you never know what to expect. And especially when you got the Tom Grisafi on the show as well, you definitely don't know what to expect. But it's been a lot of fun. I think we're giving some good information. I enjoy being live, digesting the news as it comes out. So it's been a lot of fun. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, you bet. Well, I'll put a link to your guys' channel as well on our YouTube video from our conversation, and you can check it out again. They'll be live every weekday at 9 a.m. with ATI Pro Media at Advanced Trading. Conner Bridgman with Advanced Trading. Appreciate the time. Thanks for joining me here on the show. It's great to have you on. We'll have you back on the program again in the future, my friend.
Sounds great. Thanks, Jesse.
All right, that's going to do it for Market Talk. Find us online, markettalkag.com. I'm Jesse Allen. Have a great afternoon.